In this lesson, we'll continue our review of Writing Test 7, Section 2, and we're still on the first passage about NASA. We've got a new paragraph here. Note these brackets. Whenever we see these brackets, there will be a question at some point about sentence order, and it looks to be question 9. A report by the Space Foundation estimated that NASA contributed $180 billion to the economy in 2005, more than 60% of the contribution coming from commercial goods and services created by companies using space-related technology. This is a tense issue. It's just like the last question we had, number 7. And you always want to look for clues in other parts of the sentence, which obviously we know to be correct if they're not underlined. So we've got estimated and commercial goods created. We don't want coming. We want the past tense. We want came from. And so the answer is D for this one. And then we've got one more question. I'm just going to read through this, and then we'll look for sentence order. This translates as an excellent return from an agency that received approximately $17.7 billion in tax dollars in 2014. This investment by taxpayers enhanced not only the national economy, but also the United States' competitiveness in the international market. Moreover, the benefits of NASA funding extend beyond the purely economic, as astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson indicated in his testimony before the U.S. Senate. For a penny on a dollar, we can transform the country from a sullen, dispirited nation weary of economic struggle to one where it has reclaimed its 20th century birthright to dream of tomorrow. All right, so lots of information here. And again, I know some students aren't going to read it exactly the way I did. They might skim over it. And this is really just asking question 9, where the most logical place to put sentence 1. So sentence 1, a report by the Space Foundation estimated that NASA contributed $180 billion to the economy in 2005. So it's leading off with this large contribution. The next sentence, more than 60% of the contribution. See how it's giving details or facts about the contribution? Obviously, we need this sentence here if we're going to give details about it. And so this is what I mean. Even though I read all of this just to be comprehensive, I realize on a test you might not have to do that, especially if it's asking about 1. You look at the sentence after, it introduces a contribution, it gives details about it. Obviously, it belongs where it is now. And so the answer is A. All right, let's take a look at the last few questions on this passage. All right, here we are. So we're going to do just 10 and 11 are the last 2. Tyson's expansive vision for the agency hints at another mission of NASA's illuminated in this observation by Apollo 14 astronaut Edgar Mitchell. You develop an instant global consciousness, a people orientation, and an intense dissatisfaction with the state of the world and a compulsion to do something about it. With the world population topping 7 billion, humanity is in need of some perspective. So question 10, this is one of these add-delete questions. At this point right here, between this quote and this statement about the world population, the writer is considering adding this sentence. In addition, NASA has facilities in Washington, D.C., Florida, Texas, California, and other states. Should he make it? The two-part question you always want to ask yourself, number 1, is it relevant? Are the locations of NASA around the country relevant in this context here? You should recognize absolutely not, right? There's no transition. There's no segue into that at all. This is definitely off point. So if it's not relevant, we just delete it. And there'll be 2 yeses, 2 no's. So should we make the addition? Definitely a no. Which one is it? Does it undermine the passage's claim about economic benefits? Undermine means weaken, and this almost is never the right choice. It doesn't really weaken it. It's just not related. It's off topic. It blurs the paragraph's focus by introducing information that does not support the paragraph's claim about the importance of NASA's work. Right? It blurs, or it detracts, or it just gives irrelevant information. So the answer is D. And let's take a look at the last question, number 11. With the world population topping 7 billion, humanity is in need of some perspective. Therefore, we should continue to support NASA not only for the practical reasons, but also because it's a necessary vehicle for increasing our awareness of how we can fulfill our responsibilities to the planet and each other. This is a transition question. And so here, This previous sentence, the world population is approaching 7 billion. We need perspective. As a result, we should continue to support NASA. That's what therefore means. It means sort of as a result, or accordingly, or it means thus or consequently. This is the best choice here, right? It's not instead. Instead implies some type of substitute as an alternative, and we definitely don't have that. It's not an example. It's certainly not contrast. The answer here is A.